Jack and I have started having one-on-one talks, trying to rebuild our relationship from the ground up. It's been challenging at times. There's a lot of hurt and misunderstanding to work through on both sides. One particularly difficult conversation happened about 3 weeks ago. Jack confessed that part of the reason he never reached out to me was because he felt intimidated by my success. He saw me as this perfect older sister who had it all together, and he was afraid of disappointing me. I had no idea he felt this way, and it made me realize how my distance might have contributed to his struggles. We talked about our childhood, and I was surprised to learn how Jack had perceived things. He told me about times when he'd overheard our parents comparing us, always holding me up as the example to follow. I hadn't realized how much pressure that had put on him. It made me think about how I had always seen Jack as the favored child, getting away with things I never could. It was eye-opening to see how differently we had experienced our family dynamic. On the positive side, Jack has been committed to his recovery. He's attending outpatient therapy 3 times a week and has joined a support group for teens dealing with addiction. Our parents have also started family therapy sessions, which I've been participating in when I can. These therapy sessions have been revealing. We've uncovered patterns of communication, or lack thereof, that have been hurting our family for years. Mom tends to avoid conflict, often sweeping issues under the rug. Dad, on the other hand, can be overly critical, especially when it comes to academics and career choices. Jack and I both admitted to feeling like we could never quite meet his standards. There have been some challenging moments. Last week, Jack had a close call with relapse. One of his old friends contacted him, trying to convince him to use again. Jack was tempted, but he called me instead. We talked for hours that night, and I'm proud to say he stayed strong and didn't give in. It was the first time Jack had really reached out to me for help, and it felt like a turning point in our relationship. As for me, I've been doing a lot of self-reflection. I've realized that my hands-off approach to family wasn't just about the age gap or being busy with work. I was avoiding deeper issues, like the pressure I felt to be the perfect child and my fear of confronting family problems. I've started seeing a therapist of my own to work through these issues. My therapist has helped me see how my drive for success was partly fueled by a need for our parents' approval. I've always felt like I had to be the responsible one, the one who had everything figured out. It's been liberating to admit that I don't have all the answers, that I'm still figuring things out too. Our parents are doing their best to navigate this new reality. They've been educating themselves about addiction and recovery, trying to find the balance between supporting Jack and maintaining necessary boundaries. It's been hard on them, especially our mom, who blames herself for not noticing Jack's struggles earlier. Dad has been struggling with his own guilt. He admitted in a family therapy session that he had noticed Jack seemed down a few months ago, but he had chalked it up to typical teenage moodiness. He regrets not digging deeper, not asking Jack what was really going on. Jack's school has been surprisingly supportive. They've worked out a plan for him to complete his coursework from home for now, with the goal of having him return to regular classes next semester. His guidance counselor has been instrumental in coordinating with his teachers and therapists to ensure he doesn't fall behind. I know we have a long road ahead of us. Rebuilding trust and healing as a family won't happen overnight. But for the first time in a long time, I feel hopeful about our future as siblings and as a family. I'm committed to being there for Jack in a way I wasn't before, while also taking care of my own mental health. Thank you again to everyone who offered advice and shared their own experiences. Your support has meant more than you know. Update 2. It's been 6 months since my last update, and I wanted to share some significant developments in our family situation. Jack has made remarkable progress in his recovery. He's been clean for 8 months now and has fully re-engaged with school. He's even joined the school's peer counseling program, using his experience to help other students who might be struggling with similar issues. Our relationship has grown stronger than I ever thought possible. We now have a standing weekly dinner date where we catch up on each other's lives. It's amazing how much I've learned about my brother in these past months, his dreams, his fears, his quirky sense of humor that I never knew existed. Jack has started opening up more about his interests. He's passionate about music and has been teaching himself guitar. I never knew he was musical. It turns out he's been writing songs for years but was always too embarrassed to share them. Last week, he played one for me, and I was blown away by his talent. However, not everything has been smooth sailing. About 2 months ago, we hit a major bump in the road. Jack discovered that our parents had been reading his text messages and monitoring his internet usage without his knowledge. They claimed they were just trying to keep him safe, but Jack felt betrayed and violated. This led to a huge family argument. Jack was furious, our parents were defensive, and I found myself caught in the middle. It was a tense few weeks, with Jack barely speaking to our parents and spending most of his time at my place. During this time, I had to step up and mediate between Jack and our parents. It was challenging to balance supporting Jack's need for privacy and independence with our parents' understandable concerns about his recovery. We had several family meetings, some of which got pretty heated. One particularly intense discussion centered around a party Jack had been invited to. Our parents didn't want him to go, fearing he might be tempted to use again. Jack argued that he needed to learn to navigate social situations without drugs. I could see both sides, and it took a lot of talking to reach a compromise. Eventually, we were able to reach a compromise. Our parents agreed to stop monitoring Jack's communications and to trust him more. In return, Jack agreed to be more open about his activities and the people he's spending time with. We also set up a system where Jack checks in with a family member once a day, just to touch base. This experience taught me a lot about the complexities of trust and communication in families dealing with addiction recovery. It's not always a linear process, and there are bound to be setbacks and disagreements along the way. On a personal note, I've continued with my own therapy and have made some significant breakthroughs. I've come to terms with a lot of the guilt I was carrying about not being there for Jack earlier. I've also been working on setting healthier boundaries in all my relationships, not just with my family. Jack is now looking forward to his high school graduation next month. He's been accepted to a local community college and plans to study psychology. He talks about wanting to become a counselor for teens dealing with addiction, using his own experience to help others. Our parents are doing better too. They've joined a support group for parents of recovering addicts, which has been incredibly helpful for them. They're learning to balance their concern for Jack with respect for his growing independence. As for me, this whole experience has led me to reevaluate my career path. I'm considering going back to school to become a social worker, focusing on family counseling. I want to use what I've learned through this journey to help other families navigate similar challenges. While we still have our ups and downs, I'm amazed at how far we've come as a family. The communication, understanding between us have improved tremendously. We're not perfect, but we're learning and growing together. Thank you all for your continued support and advice throughout this journey. It's been invaluable in helping me navigate these challenging times. Update 3. It's been a year since my original post, and I wanted to provide one final update on our family's journey. Jack graduated high school last summer and has just completed his first semester at community college. I'm incredibly proud to say he made the dean's list. He's thriving in his psychology classes and has even started volunteering at a local youth center, mentoring teens who are struggling with substance abuse. The road hasn't always been easy. Jack had a minor slip-up about 4 months ago when the stress of starting college got to him. He called me in tears, admitting he'd taken a pill at a party. But instead of spiraling back into addiction, he reached out for help immediately. We got through it together, and it actually ended up strengthening our bond. Our family dynamic has continued to evolve. We've had our share of disagreements and tense moments, but we've also developed much healthier ways of communicating and resolving conflicts. Family therapy has been a crucial part of this process, giving us tools to express our feelings and needs more effectively. One significant change has been in how we handle family gatherings. In the past, these events were often tense, with everyone walking on eggshells. Now, we've learned to be more open and honest with each other. Last Thanksgiving, instead of pretending everything was perfect, we each shared something we were struggling with. It was a powerful moment of connection for all of us. I've made some big changes in my own life too. I quit my corporate job and have started taking classes towards a degree in social work. It's been challenging to go back to school while working part-time, but I've never felt more fulfilled. My experiences with Jack have given me a passion for helping families navigate addiction and recovery. Our parents have grown a lot too. They've become active in addiction awareness programs in our community, sharing their experiences to help other families. It's been healing for them to turn their pain into something positive. Dad, in particular, has really stepped up. He's been working on expressing his emotions more openly and has even started a support group for fathers of recovering addicts at his church. Last month, we celebrated Jack's 1-year sobriety anniversary as a family. It was a powerful moment, reflecting on how far we've all come. Jack gave a speech that left us all in tears, thanking us for our support and expressing how grateful he is for a second chance. He talked about how he used to feel like he was living in my shadow, but now he feels like he's forging his own path. While we know that recovery is an ongoing process and there may be challenges ahead, we face them now as a united family. The distance that once existed between us has been replaced by a bond stronger than I ever thought possible. Jack and I have started a new tradition of taking a weekend trip together every few months. Our last trip was a camping adventure where we spent hours around the campfire, talking about our hopes and fears for the future. It's still surreal to me sometimes, how close we've become. This journey has taught me so much about love, forgiveness, and the importance of family. I'm grateful for the chance to rebuild my relationship with Jack and to discover the kind of sister I want to be. I've learned that it's never too late to change, to grow, to become closer to the people who matter most. Thank you all for being a part of this journey with us. Your support and advice have been invaluable. While this will be my final update, I want you all to know that your kindness and wisdom have made a real difference in our lives. We're still taking it one day at a time, but we're doing it together, and that makes all the difference.